Alright KDA family, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel. So I think some of you have been waiting very patiently for the past 4 weeks for a new Kadena update. I say patiently, you guys have been bombarding me non-stop. Cowboy, when's the next KDA update? What's the next KDA price? Do you still think Kadena is going down to 30 cents? So in today's video, like I posted over on YouTube, Twitter, and Discord, this video is going to include a Q&A session after the TA, after we update the technicals. I'm going to answer all of the questions that you've sent in. I thought you guys maybe would send in 3 to 10 questions and it would be a little bit embarrassing, but you have absolutely bombarded me with questions to do with KDA, so I'm going to do my best to get through as many as possible at the end of the video. So let's dive right into the technical analysis. So, like we said, it's been 4 weeks since the previous KDA update. What has changed in the macro since the last update? Well, let's click on the previous video. What was the price of the previous KDA update? We were at 49 cents. What is the price of KDA at this moment in time? It is currently sitting at a whopping 48 cents. Guys, for the past 4 weeks or so, there has not been too much to update, but coming into today's video, we may be at the cusp of a breakout happening for Kadena. Now, as I talked about in yesterday's video over on my channel, this week could deliver a massive shock to the markets. I recommend you watch this. We were talking about the IWM, the DXY, equities, the S&P 500, Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency market, the altcoin market. All of these markets are at very important places and they're looking like in the macro, they're getting ready for a big move, and for Kadena, it's no different. For the past 4 weeks, we have been coiling up. The market direction is still the same with lower highs across the board after every single pump. And quite recently, since we put in the bear market low, we have been getting converged within this asymmetrical triangle type pattern. Well, at least it's an asymmetrical triangle if you are drawing from this region. Honestly, guys, in the macro, it's going to be a quick update today because there's not too much to update. Let's dive right into the first chart. On the weekly time frame, as you can see, the fractal that we've been talking about, breaking down into new bear market lows, retesting new lows. Breaking beneath them, retesting new lows, breaking beneath them, retesting new lows. You get the gist. We're still seeing the same thing. We obviously quite recently broke beneath the lows at 50 cents. We've just been spending a little bit of time consolidating round about this region. Now, on the weekly time frame, this is a interesting consolidation because the price has been coming down. As you can see in this chart over here, we have a plethora of highs starting round about 69 to 70 cents. And ever since then on the weekly, we've been making lower highs at 59, lower highs at 57, lower highs at 53, lower highs at 50. And so far this week, we did have a slight pump back up to 49 cents. I imagine this is probably where the next lower high is going to form. As you can see, right now, we are forming a very, very strong hidden bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. Now, this doesn't mean we have to break down straight away, because if we're looking at the daily time frame, you can actually see the daily stochastic is starting to reset and push back up to the upside. So what this could mean for the next few days or so is Kadena just remains a little bit range bound. Maybe we don't immediately break down in this smaller triangle pattern, which has a apex on the 2nd of October. However, if you did watch the previous video, it is a possibility. This, outside the KDA charts, is one of the main reasons why I do think looking at KDA right now, looking at the weekly stock all the way up at 90, looking at the fact that we're forming this hidden bearish divergence as price is breaking down, but oscillators are becoming more overextended. This is one of the reasons why I think we're probably going to break down very, very soon. But worst comes to worst, we may just trickle out and break sideways for a short period of time. However, if we are looking at the daily time frame, there is another reason why we might continue down. We do have a Adam and Eve pattern playing out on the daily time frame outside of this triangle formation that we are doing right now. As you can see, we've got a big spike up right here, and we've got a secondary double top, which is more of a rounded formation than a spiky top formation. This is called an Adam and Eve pattern. This is how the typical Adam and Eve works. An Adam and Eve double top formation with a spiky top followed by a rounding top is typically a bearish sign that after this double top forms, you're going to start losing momentum and start coming back down to the downside. You see momentum being lost in this rounded top compared to momentum in the initial spike. This is just another way of really looking at double tops. This also could very arguably be a M pattern formation. To be honest, pretty much every single Adam and Eve pattern is basically a glorified M pattern. If we are taking the price target of this M pattern formation at this moment in time, you could potentially see Kadena coming down to as low as 34 cents, very close to our macro 30-cent price target. To be completely honest with you guys, this is really the only development which has changed since my last video 4 weeks ago, which is why I haven't worried too much about making a KDA update. If we're going through the charts, we're still seeing the same thing like we talked about in the previous video. For the past 4 weeks or so, we're just going sideways. We still think the macro is going to bleed out. As you can see, stochastic RSI, this divergence is nothing to play with. Price has been coming down, but the stochastic has managed to come back up to, between 85 and 90. The last time we were this overextended, KDA topped out at $1.40. In the macro, guys, everything is the exact same as the previous update. The only thing which has changed is, as we talked about in the previous update, we outlined on the weekly time frame how we've got a ton of these very specific candlestick patterns in which you've got these blow off top wicks to the upside followed by a continuation back down. As you can see, more often than not every single time, but with a very, very strong probability of a move to the downside, often presents itself after witnessing these blow off top wicks to the upside, which get pushed back down, closed after wiping out a lot of the gains, and then they continue back down. Now, since the last video, as you can see, the last few times, every single time we start to make these, these are normally from lower high positions after a blow-off rally to the upside. And as you can see, stochastic on the weekly is topping out, even though we're coming down. Ever since we formed this wick to the upside, round about 57 cent, we've just been coming down. So in the macro, everything is the same. Before we do continue onto the TA, I do want to let you guys know, you are the KDA community. I love you guys. I love KDA, but I need to keep it 100 with you guys. Some of you have really, really bad patience. And I don't say that to shame you or be mean or make fun of you. You just need to know, some of you guys just need to be a little bit patient. You just need to learn how to sit on the sidelines for 3 or 4 weeks, look at the price, say, hey, what was Cowboy talking about in his last video? Let's look at the macro. The price was 48 cent. He said, in the macro, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. What has changed since the last video? Well, nothing. KDA TVL, total value locked on chain on the weekly time frame, is just continually bleeding out and making lower lows and lower highs. KDA BTC, lower lows and lower highs in the macro. KDA USD, lower lows and lower highs in the macro. Guys, once again, I love you. I'm saying this because I love you, but some of you just need to relax. You need to learn a little bit of patience, and you need to be able to look at the charts and say, hey, things are a little bit boring right now. Not too much is happening. There's not too many price patterns which are developing. There's not many opportunities for trades. We're just going sideways, lower lows, lower highs, etc. And just relax, take a deep breath. Not every single day is a day where we're going to be absolutely focusing on Kadena. And yeah, in terms of the TA, my thoughts haven't changed. My 30-cent price target hasn't changed. If for any reason I feel like my 30-cent price target is going to change, if the targets change, if the technical analysis changes, if the news changes, if there's anything worth talking about for Kadena, I'll come back like this. If I don't have anything to say, if I don't have any new price targets, if we're just going sideways, waiting for the next big move, then there's nothing to talk about, guys. So if I don't make a video for a few weeks or so, don't think I'm never going to talk about Kadena again. Don't think I've lost trust in my price targets. If anything changes, I will let you know. If I don't say anything, nothing's changed. And for those of you who maybe just want my thoughts on Kadena, maybe every other day or so you might ask me, what are my thoughts? What do I think about this pattern, etc. You can come and join the Discord. As you know, if you do subscribe to my channel, I know a lot of you literally just subscribe for the KDA videos. My channel focuses on Bitcoin, the equity markets, economic data, and macro markets. However, despite the fact that 90% of my videos are stock market and Bitcoin related, the one video a month that I do on Kadena absolutely blasts all the videos out of the water. So I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys are just subscribed for KDA content. With that being said, let's dive right into the questions, because you guys have absolutely bombarded me. So I'll go through the questions as quickly and compendiously as I can. So the first question from Action Master is the Bitcoin halving going to impact KDA positively in the next bull run? Well, yeah, I do think so. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Bitcoin halving is normally good for altcoins as well. And also KDA has a halving next year. So we'll see if that has a impact on the price action as well. But yeah, just to keep it short and sweet, yes, I think that's going to have a positive impact. The next question from Wow, suppose if KDA goes to 30 cent, will it bounce to $1 or will it just stay there and wait for a market recovery? Well, as I've said in my videos, I don't necessarily think 30 cent is the bottom. I think it could be a short-term local bottom, but looking at the stochastic RSI like we did earlier on in the video, looking at how topped out it is on the weekly time frame, I just don't see a bounce back up to $1 happening anytime soon. Probably it's not going to happen until the bull run starts, in my opinion. If we are looking at the weekly time frame, you know, short-term moving averages and bull market support bands kind of start topping out around about 62 cent. If we come down to 30 cent, could we pump back up to 60 cent? It's a possibility. Do I think $1? I don't really think so. Next question from IceCoo. Why do you think KDA is something worth investing in, given that so many other high potential plays such as Sol and GRT? Well, I think they've got a good team backed by some very important players in the industry, which gives them a lot of hype and credibility. I also like the fact that KDA has been getting decimated so hard, despite the fact that the fundamentals are looking quite good right now. That, in my opinion, means that while I do think Kadena will come lower, I think when it does bottom from a risk to reward perspective, there's a lot more room for KDA to have a run up to the upside compared to something like Sol. And to finish off with that question, you mentioned Sol and the graph. I'm also going to be purchasing both of these projects. So it's kind of like KDA is just something which also comes into my investment thesis. I think Sol is a safer bet, but I think KDA, if it does work, it's going to provide greater returns. And the same thing with the graph. I think the graph is a more risky bet, although if the graph pays off, it may do better than KDA and Sol combined. The next question from Alan Botwright is not even a question. Stop promoting KDA. Well, I've never promoted KDA. I've never told any of you to buy KDA. I've never told any of you to follow my investment thesis. I'm just letting you know what my thoughts on the market are. And also, it's my channel, so if I want to promote it, if I want to make videos about it, I'm going to do just that. Next question from a random user. What do you think? How high can it go when the bull run starts? Well, I made a video about 5 months ago talking about how I believe after the bear market's done, Kadena could do about 150x from 30 cent, putting Kadena round about $45, but let's just round it up to $50. This was really based on looking at competitors like Solana saying, hey, this is the market cap of Solana now, while Solana's in a bear market, not even in a bull market. All it takes is for Kadena to move up to this kind of status and boom, you know, we've got a $50 valuation. The next question from Millie Crypto, how much KDA is enough minimum? Well, that's a hard question to ask for everyone because I imagine a lot of people are going to be in different places. Some of you maybe work at McDonald's, some of you maybe work in investment firms and make tons of money. So it's kind of different for everyone, but I guess you want a generic answer, so I'll just give you a generic answer. Let's say KDA comes down to what, 30 cent? You buy at 30 cent. Let's say, I think most people can afford around about 2,000 coins. That's going to put you around about $600. I understand everyone's in different places in their lives and people work different jobs and get different pays. And obviously I don't advocate going all in on Kadena. I absolutely don't advocate that whatsoever. So let's say you buy at 30 cent for $600. You've got 2,000 coins. It goes to $50. You know, you could be looking at 100,000 right there. Golden God, there is only question, Cowboy, when moon? Probably late 2024 coming into early 2025 after I believe the recession will be all cleared up. The next question is from Michael G. Any chance KDA won't recover? Well, of course there's a chance. If you look at, you know, most altcoins back in 2017, most of them didn't survive. So of course there's going to be a chance KDA won't recover. And I know a lot of you KDA maxis are going to be already spamming the keyboard. Cowboy, how dare you say that KDA might not recover? Guys, it's just the reality of the markets. Do I think KDA will recover? Yes. Is there a chance it won't recover? You know, of course there's a chance it won't recover. There's that risk running in every single cryptocurrency asset. Richard Morrill, bull run price, let's say $50. James Wall, I've been following KDA for a while and it seems like the team has finally gotten to where everyone thought they were at the end of 2020. They seem to just keep hiring. How long do you think they can sustain continued development and growth considering the market conditions? So in my opinion, I think a recession will come within the next 6 to 9 months. I think Kadena is in a position where it can survive these type of turmoil situations for the next 12 months. If we are breaking into a really long recession, which takes years, then you know, I think Kadena and a lot of other projects are going to run into problems, but we'll talk about that further down the line. That's not my personal prediction. SJ asks, what is the lowest price that you expect KDA to hit in the next bull run? Well, from a very conservative standpoint, there is, of course, the risk that it won't return to the all-time high. So let's say $20 is my lowest price target. And of course, I'll be taking profits at $10, $15, $20, $25, $50, etc. Interstellar asks, why do you focus so heavily on Kadena and avoid other projects? Someone else responded, ignoring your borderline insubordinate tone. But no, this is a good question and there is a lot of truth in it. I mean, you know, you can't deny this. If you come over to my channel, You know, in the past month, I've made one altcoin update and it's been a KDA update. And why do I cover Kadena so much? Because from a risk to reward perspective, I think it's going to be one of the most interesting bets. And you guys keep on asking for me to make these videos. Interstellar again, is the chain dead? It wouldn't be the first. Look at Icon back in 2017 and many other examples. Well, apart from Bitcoin, pretty much all network adoption is slowing right now. Whether you're looking at Ethereum, BNB, Solana, KDA, all on-chain activity, on-chain metrics for, you know, different altcoins, they're all struggling. Kadena is not the only altcoin which is struggling with a quote-unquote dead chain right now. I think it's very natural in a bear market. People aren't building, people aren't using it as much. Coming into the next cycle, I think that will change. Igor, again, what do you think about the thesis that over 99% of altcoins from previous will just continue to bleed against their Bitcoin pair? It's not a thesis, it's fact. We've made videos on this before. If you go on Google and type in top 25 coins of 2017, we did a video on this. You guys probably haven't heard of 20 of these. Maybe you've heard of like Zcash, Monero, you know, some of the other, you know, quote unquote old blue chips. Most of them don't make new all-time highs. You continue to ask, I noticed that this is being mentioned a lot recently, kind of worries me. Also, could you share which alts except for Sol, KDA, and you mentioned the graph, are you planning on getting into when the time is ready? This isn't the answer you wanted, but apart from Sol, KDA, and the graph, there aren't any altcoins that I'm looking at to get into when the time is ready. Sure, I've got my eyes on a few different altcoins, which I don't really want to mention right now because maybe they won't even make it out the cycle. They're just things that I've got my eyes on. But like I responded in an earlier question, the reason why I'm not focusing too much on altcoins right now is because I don't think they've got good risk to reward. I think a lot of them are going to fail. I don't think there's any point in me covering 10 different altcoins when probably only one of them, or two of them if I'm covering, you know, Solana, KDA, etc., are going to make it out into the next cycle. So I rather focus on altcoins maybe in 6 months' time, maybe when a recession is dawning, and I think, you know, around that area is when I'm going to start looking at alts which survive. Epic Media asks, how many is your gold bag? I'm not going to answer that question. I'll let you know from a percentage. Round about 5% of my crypto portfolio will be going into KDA. I don't really want to put a monetary value to how much KDA I am going to be buying. Epic Media again, what is your exit strategy on Kadena? Buy low, sell high. It's hard to give you exact price targets at this moment in time because until we make the bear market lows, it's difficult for me to look at the chart and say, hey, this is the support and resistance. Hey, this is the updated macro moving average. Hey, this is the Fibonacci from swing high to swing low. We need to wait for the bottom to form first before I can really give you some solid targets. So all I can say is for right now, let's focus on buying low. And when we buy low and we start filling our orders, we can start talking about, hey, is the bottom in? If the bottom is in, these are the targets that I'm now looking at. And now we've come to an end to all of the Kadena questions over on YouTube. Let's now head over to Twitter. Whole 29 questions on Twitter. I was not expecting this. If you didn't get the opportunity to ask me a question for today's KDA video, then you're probably not following me over on Twitter. So what I will do is plug my Twitter right now before we do continue. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. Make sure you come and join the Discord, guys. We've literally got a Kadena exclusive channel. If you've been on the sidelines wondering whether you should get a Discord, whether you should come join the Cowboy Discord, there is literally a channel dedicated to just Kadena. So if you only care about Kadena, if you only watch my channel for Kadena, you can come, you can pretend other cryptos don't exist, you can pretend the stock market doesn't exist, you can pretend macro doesn't exist, and you can just come and look at the KDA channel, talk to the KDA community, you can ask me questions. When I'm not making a video for a week or two, you can say, hey, Cowboy, what's Kadena doing, blah, blah, blah. And also, our Discord has a daily channel where we post raccoon pictures and videos. That's enough said. If that hasn't convinced you to come join, then I don't want you to join anyway. So let's continue with the questions. Riley asks, do you think Kadena can reach all-time high without mass adoption? It depends what your definition of mass adoption is, but either way, yeah, I think it can. I think a lot of altcoins pump based on pumpermentals and not fundamentals and adoption. So yeah, I think it can reach an all-time high without mass adoption. A Stray Project asks, why is it likely it will hit all-time highs once again? I think I answered a similar question to this earlier. I like the fundamentals, I like the pumpermentals, I like the community, I like the team, they're backed by some big people. Really, if you watch my channel, you know I don't really talk about cryptocurrency fundamentals on altcoins because Some of you guys are going to get angry at this, but I don't think altcoins have utility. I'm sorry. That means Kadena, that means Solana, that means the Graph, all of the cryptos, which I do enjoy, all of the altcoins, which I enjoy, and I think will do well. I don't think they've got any fundamentals, guys. I only think Bitcoin has fundamentals. If you hate on that opinion, that's fine. I'm a Bitcoin maxi. We can agree to disagree. I think altcoins move because of pumpermentals and hype only. And does it have a good team? Does it have a good community which can inspire pumpermentals? Absolutely. So pumpermentals is really the answer to that question. Jose asks, my question is, why do you cover KDA? How did you hear about it? And have you done a technical assessment or looking at it from a trading perspective? I've looked at it from a technical perspective. I've looked at the white paper. I've looked at the team. I've looked at their website. And also, yeah, as well, from a trading perspective, I think it's very easy to trade if you're patient. So yeah, it's a bit of both. I like it from a pumpermental, quote unquote, fundamental perspective. I also like its technicals. You also asked, what will be your approach / coverage next bull market? Maybe daily updates, maybe weekly updates. I guess we'll just see. Crypto King says there seems to be a lot of concerns about Kadena being a dead project. Is this a legitimate concern that would necessitate shying away from accumulation of this crypto? Well, pretty much every single crypto, every single altcoin right now, should I say, on chain, it's a dead project. That's just how it is. This is how bear markets are, guys. In the previous bear market, I've seen network activity on things like Ethereum go to 0 and then boot start up again like never before. It's a typical bear market. Just because the on-chain is dead right now is just because crypto is pretty dead right now. I think it will recover. This is why I picked Kadena. Curry Connoisseur asks, is this worth selling all Kadena holdings next bull run, or will it grow into future bull runs? Once again, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. I do not advocate for hodling altcoins. I don't think it's a good idea to say, hey, Kadena's really good at, 50 cent. Let me just hold it for, 100 years or so until I'm dead. Absolutely not. I want to buy low. I want to sell high. I want to make sure that I'm timing remotely around the top of the Kadena bull run. Of course, I want to take profits. If I still think it's a good project and it comes back down to the downside, I want to buy cheap again and sell high. I don't think it's a good idea to hodl altcoins for long periods of time. Look at people like the Dogecoin millionaire, which had tons of money and now they're down 99.9% because they hodled, because the technology is blah, blah, blah. Don't care about all of that. Here to make money. Buy low, sell high. That's the plan. Most Hated asks, thoughts on going into Q4 Kadena price prediction. 30 cent, 20 cent, round about that level. Ose, I don't know how to pronounce that name, I'm sorry, asks, what would give a better return, KDA or Solana? I think asking this because I feel like KDA is more oversold than Solana, especially because of the poor on-chain activity. I agree with you. I literally answered a question earlier and said that I think Kadena as well is more oversold than a lot of these other projects like Solana and the Graph, and that's why I think it's got a good risk to reward perspective. It doesn't even have to return to all-time highs. It's very, very oversold in the macro right now. All it needs is another macro bounce and, you're making ridiculous amounts of money. Kadena UAE asks, sup cowboy, what are your targets for Kadena in 2025 to 2026? $50 to $75 or so. Kadena Miner asks, when are you going to post the next KDA video? Right now. I'm posting the next video right now. K-Baby asks, do you think the KDA price will be affected by the new website launch in November, the USD Bridge and Echo DAO October? What are your thoughts on KDX price? I think coming into the next cycle, KDX could be a good short-term play, not because I like it from a fundamental perspective, but because I like it from a pumpermental perspective. And also, do I think KDA will be affected by the new website launch, USDC bridge, etc.? Yes, I do. I think it will have a negative reaction. I said this back when people were talking about USDC getting bridged onto Kadena, and everyone was saying, oh, this is, really, really bullish news. And I was saying, you already know about the news. The news is priced into the markets. As soon as this happens, we're going to make new lows, and boom, buy the rumor, sell the news. So the fact that everyone knows that a new website is coming, the fact that everyone knows the USDC bridge is coming, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. It's not going to do anything to the price. It's already priced in. Socrates asks, what research or what fundamentals led you to choose Kadena over other layer ones as a serious competitor? Promising performer for the next bull run. You are bullish both on KDA and Sol. How do they compare? Well, in terms of what they're trying to do, they're pretty much both the same, except Solana is faster and KDA is supposedly more secure and green. although it's kind of hard to say Kadena is more secure because it hasn't been battle tested. But yeah, what research or fundamentals led me to choose Kadena? Like I said, white paper looks like it would entice retail traders into thinking it's got good fundamentals. Like I said, don't throw rocks through my windows, guys. I don't think any altcoins have good fundamentals. I think they survive off pumpamentals. And because of that, I think Kadena will do well. The next question from Kambizmaradi. Do you see CAS as a legit competitor for KDA? Yes, I do, although from a risk to reward perspective, I prefer KDA. One opportunist asked, do you think with the commitments to hit deadlines, the onboarding of USDC and the new CMO changes the narrative of KDA? No, like I said before, I think it's priced in. Well, on a monthly basis, it's actually decreased. But if you're looking at the higher time frame, if you're kind of looking at an average, you know, it's doing what it's been doing for the past few years or so. And in terms of on average, if you're looking at maybe a 3 to 6 month time frame, it does have an increase in developer activity. So I don't think looking at it month to month is necessarily the best way of looking at it. Raf asks, have you used Kadena like sending wallet to wallet, minting, swapping tokens, etc.? No, I've never owned any spot KDA. I've set up a few Kadena wallets, but no spot has ever touched it. The only time I've ever owned Kadena is when I've owned someone else's Kadena in order to do a leverage short on the markets. I've only ever shorted Kadena. I've never spot owned it. Joel says, hello Cowboy, my questions for tomorrow's Kadena video are below. Should we compare Kadena to XRP in regards that we may not see it reach its all-time highs again and above? I don't think we should be comparing Kadena to XRP. Fundamentally, technically, the community, the people who are backing it, I think everything is very different about these projects. They're trying to do different things. I don't think we should compare it to XRP. In fact, I'm going to move on from this question. I don't even want to start talking about XRP. Otherwise, yeah, veterans of the channel know my thoughts about XRP. Don't get me started on XRP. Monty asks, is it a good time to buy KDA? Yeah, I think it's an alright time to buy KDA, even though personally, I'm not buying right now until 30 cent. You guys know my buy orders down at 30 cent, 22. We've got some price targets between there where we've set buy orders. Do I think there's a huge difference between buying at 30 cent and 40 cent? Not a huge difference. But nonetheless, I'm a very conservative trader. I think the markets are getting ready for a plunge. I think a recession's coming. So, you know, personally for me, I would just like to buy where I'm comfortable. Some people are going to say, oh, you're going to miss the boat. You're being too greedy. I'm not being too greedy at all. I'm buying where I feel comfortable from a risk to reward perspective. And that's all that matters. I'm comfortable to buy at 30 cent. I'm not comfortable to buy at 50 cent. It's just how it is. But is it the worst time to buy? No, especially if you've been sitting on the sidelines. A lot of people, a lot of YouTubers were promoting this up at $30, $20, $10, telling you to buy. If you've got your first buy orders around about 50 cent, I think you're doing better than 99% of the Kadena community. Joel asks, does decreasing mass adoption for Kadena worry you? Well, no, because we're in a bear market and mass adoption for pretty much every altcoin is decreasing at this moment in time. Joel as well says, Casper is a strong competitor to Kadena, no VCs, fair launch and nice emissions. Do you believe a strong competitor could make Kadena non-existent in the next bull run? No. There's tons of Ethereum competitors which do what Ethereum does better, but Ethereum is still doing just fine, even though I don't like Ethereum. Thomas says, why buy KDA when you can buy CAS? Risk to reward is better in my opinion on Kadena. Chain Reaction says, Sup Cowboy, from watching your channel I see you are very selective in the alts you cover. That is very perspicacious of you. I want to know why you cover KDA. Is it the chart, the tech? Why do you like KDA? Like I said before, pumpamental perspective, and also I just find the chart very easy to navigate. I think, you know, I don't want to brag. I don't want to seem like I'm always right. I'm right about absolutely everything. I get things wrong sometimes. I got some things wrong earlier in Q1 of 2023. I don't get everything right in the markets, but without tooting my own horn, pretty much everything we've ever said about Kadena has come into fruition. And is that because I'm the best trader in the world, or is that just because if you look at Kadena from a very unbiased perspective and just look at how it moves and look at fractals and technical analysis patterns which play out again and again and again and again and again with like a 95% ratio, and you just trade off of that, I think this is why I like Kadena. It's very easy to chart, in my opinion. I seem to have a good time navigating it. So from a charting perspective, If I can easily trade it and easily make money on it, then why would I, try and chart something like Ethereum, which I'm not as good at charting. And if I'm trading Ethereum, I'm going to make less money. So yeah, I like the fundamentals. I just like how the chart moves. Samir asked, do you think Kadena will reach 10 USDT? Yes, I do. Joel says, where will you be buying Kadena? I plan on using crypto.com. I plan on using every single resource before I have to use crypto.com. Another thing, never get me started on XRP and never get me started on crypto.com. I have issues with both of these. Although I do have buy orders set for Kadena on crypto.com, I know that you can't withdraw Kadena from crypto.com. That's one of the major reasons why I only have a small buy order on crypto.com. I have my main buy orders in Binance and I have them in KuCoin. I just have crypto.com as a backup. Sometimes when these markets move crazy, there's opportunities for arbitrage. Kadena might go down to 30 cent on crypto.com before it goes down to 30 cent on other exchanges. So I've just got a small bag here, small bag there, larger bags in KuCoin, Binance. Those are the main ones that I'm going to be looking at. Not financial advice. I'm definitely not advising you what exchanges to use, especially because exchanges are so risky. Manage your money yourself. Do your own research on different exchanges. If I tell you I'm buying on KuCoin and then KuCoin goes bust and you had all your money in KuCoin, don't blame me. I'm an advocate of only putting small amounts in exchanges. Make sure you've got a hardware wallet. Make sure you can privately own your own coins. Do not leave any coins on exchanges. And also, if you're buying on crypto.com, you can't even remove your Kadena. So I think that answers the question. I will exhaust every possibility before going to crypto.com. Once again, I'm going to move on. I don't want to read anything else ever again about crypto.com or XRP. But anyway, this video is already 31 minutes long, so I'm going to quick fire answer the rest of the questions. Do you think KDA will be topping out in the next bull run or seeing ETH type growth? Well, I think every single cryptocurrency is going to top out in the bull run. I don't think it's just going to go up in a straight line forever. Kadena will have another bear market in the future. How many months roughly do you think will be staying in the same price range for KDA? Probably the next month, and then we'll be down at 30 cent. Do you still think that we'll have 150x? When I mentioned 150x, that was about 5 months ago, and that was on the basis that we bottom at 30 cent. I personally think we can go lower, which actually means that I'm still thinking the same upwards growth is there, but I think we can go a little bit lower, meaning potentially we might even see 250x if we do come underneath 30 cent. Has anything changed about your KDA thoughts? Not just about 30 cent, but overall thoughts on its potential? Nothing has changed for me. What is the main factor for you to consider contributing 5% of your portfolio to KDA? Pumpermentals, good risk to reward. If we do have that, 200x pump, then that 5% of your portfolio may become a lot more of the portfolio. What do you think of the market cap of Kadena next bull run? I mentioned this in my 150x video, but let's say 8 billion around where Solana's market cap is currently in a bear market. I think Kadena to move up to this valuation while it's in a bull market, matching Solana's valuation in a bear market, I think that's a pretty conservative look on things. Who are some of the main competitors to KDA? Probably CAS. Who are the biggest threats to KDA? Probably KDA themselves not performing, not coming through with enough people building on top of their project. I'm not the biggest fan of when people talk about things like, oh, this is an ETH killer. I think ETH is probably the biggest ETH killer, and I think it's the same with Kadena. I wouldn't really be looking at something like CAS and saying, oh, if this does really well, then Kadena has to do bad. They can simultaneously do well together. It's all really down on Kadena. How much of your portfolio will you allocate to KDA versus competitors? 5% to Kadena, maybe more on the edge of 7, 8 to 10% for Solana. When do you expect alt season to start again? Probably Q2 to Q3 of 2024. Can you give a scenario for Kadena? Best bullish case, $100, neutral case, $50, and best bearish case for Kadena? Well, the most bearish case is obviously 0 if that does happen. Is there a chance in the next bull run KDA won't be as relevant given all the new shiny altcoins that come out? Well, yeah, that's always a concern for altcoins. This is why I say altcoins are not built on fundamentals. They're built on pumpermentals, which is the shiniest new altcoin with the biggest pumpermental value that can send it to Mars. That is what the markets care about. They don't care about fundamentals, I promise you that. What are the narratives you think will drive the next bull cycle? Well, out of what you just mentioned, I think AI will be the most important, and definitely not CBDCs. I don't think they will be partnering with cryptocurrency technology. Absolutely not. CBDCs render, crypto stable coins completely invalid because CBDCs are free. You can just, if you're a government, you can just change a number in a database. Don't need crypto technology. You don't need any of that stuff. So yeah, CBDCs completely detached from crypto in my opinion. And yeah, that's all the questions that you guys left me, unless you have left me something in the past few hours or so over on Twitter. For today, my friends, that is all I've got. This is definitely one of the longer videos, but I hope some of you who have been asking me these questions have finally got your answers. I hope some of you who have been thinking about these questions now know the answers and you can think of new questions in the future. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. If you did enjoy the content, make sure to let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button on YouTube and become a member today. As soon as something interesting happens for Kadena, as soon as it looks like this pattern is ready to break, whenever I see a update which is worthy of a video, we will be back on the channel. So for today, that's all I've got. It has been your boy Cowboy Trades. Another late night. I'm out. Peace.